Now on to today's show, which is from a girl. I'm going to read to you her email because she wants to know about mopping floors and the do's and don'ts. She says, "Hi Angela, great advice. And speaking of mopping floors, I prefer to do it on my hands and knees. But like you said, it's not something that's for every house cleaner depending on the individual. What I do like is when I go to an estimate for cleaning, I let the owners know that if they have their own mop, I will be using that, or I'll be doing it on my hands and knees. There's just something about taking a mop from house to house that seems very unsanitary to me. I personally would not like a mop that was used in someone else's home, and many other homeowners feel the same." All right, that's a really interesting question, and here's my 2 cents. My 2 cents is the mopping floors on your hands and knees, while that may be a good idea for you as a solo provider, it is not scalable. So if you go in on your initial walkthrough and you train your customers that mopping the floor on your hands and knees is the best way to go, you've boxed yourself in. Now as you get older and your back goes bad or your knees go bad and you are not able to do it, you become less efficient and less effective in their eyes because now you cannot do what you sold them on. So be careful what you sell the customer because they have very long memories and they tell all their friends. Okay, the next part about that is it's not scalable. So if I am the house cleaner and I only mop the floors on my hands and knees, yay, good for me, I'm different than everyone else, it's not scalable. So as I hire employees, unless the employees are physically able to do the floors on their hands and knees and they agree to do that, it's not scalable, okay? You're gonna come in and go, no, I'm gonna use a mop. And for all valid and very good reasons, they should use a mop. And so it's not something you're gonna be able to teach and train and direct to your people. So I don't recommend the cleaning floors on your hands and knees for most scenarios. Now, like I said, if you're a solo cleaner and you're only ever gonna be a solo cleaner, and that's the way you wanna do it, that's up to you. Now, as far as taking a mop from house to house, most mops and steamers have pads that come on the bottom that touch the floor. It's the thing that goes from the mop or the steamer that touches the floor. It's the soft thing in between. Now, most of those come right off and they go in the washing machine. And if you run those on a hot cycle with the right type of soap, you can sanitize those and get those pretty clean. Now, if you feel that every customer needs their own mop, and I know exactly where you're coming from because I was also one of those house cleaners. For years, when I would go to a customer's home, I did not want to be toting around my mop. And so what I did was this. On the initial clean, most companies will charge a little bit more or double the price for an initial clean. You haven't cleaned their house before, it's going to take you a longer amount of time. You don't know where everything is. You don't know how long it's been cleaned since the tops of the door jambs and the windowsills and all these things have been cleaned. So it's going to be a deeper clean. As you do that deeper clean and you're charging more money, that's a great time to build in the price of a mop. So show up to that brand new customer's house with a brand spanking new mop and leave it at your customer's house. That way you can take the pads home and clean them and bring them back. Or if it's like a string mop, for example, you just leave it at the customer's house. You clean it, you sanitize it, you leave it there. When you come back, it's waiting for you and you use it again. Now it's already built into the cost, so the customer thinks of it as a gift. I would not bill them separately for it and say, oh, well, I'm going to charge you for these extra cleaning supplies, because they might already have a solution that they think is perfect. But if it's not your preferred mop or your preferred style of mop or whatever it is, and you know that the one that you use gets everything cleaner, leave them with a mop of your own. And it's not a gift, you got to build that into the price. But I wouldn't bill it separately so that it shows up as a line item, because then they're going to say, well, I'm not paying for a mop, I already have one. So mopping floors, do's and don'ts. What it comes down to is this. You have to mop floors. That's part of being a house cleaner. That's part of doing the job. So whether you use a dry mop or a wet mop or a steamer or a scrubber, or you're on your hands and knees, a couple of things that you need to be aware of are this. Always vacuum first. Sweep or vacuum first. You're going to pick up all the debris first. That's going to collect the dust. It's going to collect the dog hair. It's going to collect anything that's there on the floor that you need to clean up. Then you're going to come in with your mop or your steamer or whatever your process is, because there are a bunch of different processes based on the different types of flooring. Whatever the process is, you're going to come in and you're going to mop the floors so the floors are clean and tidy behind you. As you leave the house, that might be the very last thing you do as you mop your way out of the house. If there's anyone in the house, another do and don't, let them know the floor is wet. Oh hey, by the way, the floor is wet. Some people carry around these little foldable pop-up things that say, hey, watch your step. That's fine as well. If you're the only one in the house, that's not necessary. But let your customers know, your kitchen floor is wet, I don't want you to slip. All right, those are a few do's and don'ts for today, and until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.